Now at 5, authorities in Joplin investigate a fire at an apartment carport. Plus, an educator in Neosho, Missouri is named Teacher of the Year. And President Biden sets up a legal path for families of 9/11 victims to receive financial compensation from the Afghan government.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Joplin Fire Department's investigating a fire at the carport of the Mayflower Apartments. This is KOAM News at 5. Just before 9 last night, firefighters responded to calls of a fire at the apartments in the historic Murfreesburg neighborhood. Witnesses reported hearing a pop, then seeing flames break out in the carport. Authorities say some vehicles were on fire. No injuries were reported. A Southwest Missouri middle school teacher has been selected for a special award. The VFW is honoring Michael McCormick as Missouri's Citizenship Education Teacher of the Year. McCormick is himself a veteran. He's been a teacher at Westview School in Newton County for the past 10 years. The school held a special assembly recognizing him this afternoon. His wife wrote an essay about him, which earned him a regional award before being selected for the state award.
I can't say enough good things about him. He just has such good character, and I wanted everyone else to know what kind of good character that he has, because he doesn't like a lot of attention and he's very modest about it. So I kind of tooted his horn for him.
Tonight at 6, we're going to hear from Michael McCormick on how he feels being honored by the VFW. Pittsburgh woman is finally able to enjoy her new ride that she won through the Kansas Lottery. Back in August, Tatum Van Winklepleck won a 2021 Ford Escape through the lottery's Sweet Escape promotion. After lots of back and forth, that car finally came in.
When I found out that I won, I didn't believe it. I thought it was a scam, so I called the lottery office just to make sure, because I have a hard time believing things like that. So when they told me that it was real, I was excited.
The prize also included up to $3,500 in vehicle options. Von Winklepleck was the winner out of more than 102,000 entries. Checking in with Doug Heddy now for a first look at the weather.
Well, it's Friday, not a bad day for us today, but we did have a cold front that slipped through a few hours ago, so it's going to turn much colder as we head into the weekend. And with it, we've had the clouds, we've had some spotty sprinkles and showers rolling through. Not really a big deal, but it looks like as we go through the rest of the evening hours, any showers are going to spread to our south, but we are still going to have a lot of clouds sticking around as we go through the overnight hours. Could even get a few random flurries later on tonight. We're still sitting lower 50s right now. And let's go hour by hour. Let's go through time. You can see some clouds. Look at the temps. They start dipping all the way down into the lower 20s, and you can see those light snow showers kind of popping up in our southern counties a little bit later on tonight. Through the evening, we slide back through the 40s into the 30s, but a cold night for us tonight. We're going to take a look at the weekend and our next system here in just a bit.
See you then. The U.S. continues to warn that a Russian invasion of Ukraine could be imminent, and is warning U.S. citizens living in Ukraine the time to get out is now. The Pentagon says President Biden has ordered 3,000 more soldiers to Poland, and Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the State Department is drawing down personnel from the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine due to what he calls troubling signs of Russian escalation. President Biden has taken executive action to seize billions of dollars of frozen Afghan central bank funds. He intends to split the money, with half going toward the needs of the Afghan people and the other half for families of the victims of the September 11th attacks. An attorney representing several of the families calls it welcome news. Reporter Skylar Henry has more from Washington.
Behind closed doors, President Biden signed an executive order to place $7 billion in U.S.-based assets from Afghanistan's central bank into one account in the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. It's just the first step as the Biden administration seeks to split the money, with half to meet the basic needs of the Afghan people and the other half subject to lawsuits brought by families of 9/11 victims, as well as other terror victims.
The reaction of our clients has been very favorable. This has been a battle that we've been waging for 20 years now.
Attorney Keith Franz represents 17 families impacted by the September 11th attacks. He says some of his clients, like many other families, are still awaiting judgments for damages.
It creates a clear path for us to tap into these resources in order to pay appropriate and legitimate judgments.
This week, a Senate panel heard testimony about the humanitarian crisis in Afghanistan as the country faces severe hunger and economic issues under Taliban rule.
Less than 2% of Afghans will have enough to eat this winter. Media reports of young girls being sold into marriage are true. Media reports of people having to sell their organs to feed themselves, also true.
The $3.5 billion designated for the Afghan people under Friday's executive order is in addition to the more than $800 million in humanitarian aid the U.S. has already allocated since mid-August. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Washington.
More than $2 billion in additional funds from the Afghan Central Bank are also currently being held in Germany, the United Kingdom, Switzerland, and the United Arab Emirates. Authorities in Canada are headed for court in an attempt to break the bridge blockade by truckers protesting Canada's COVID-19 restrictions. The standoff has caused parts shortages that have rippled throughout the auto industry on both sides of the U.S.-Canadian border. In the U.S., the Department of Homeland Security is now surging staff to their incident command post in Los Angeles following a warning about a possible trucker protest during the Super Bowl on Sunday. Police say 5 Phoenix police officers were shot after responding to a report of gunfire inside a home, including 4 who were wounded while trying to take a baby to safety. 4 more officers were injured by shrapnel or ricocheting bullets. Authorities say all of the officers are expected to survive. Police say the suspect was found dead in the home and a woman at the home was critically injured. The baby was unharmed. Still ahead, the rising cost of a Super Bowl feast.
Super Bowl Sunday isn't just about the game. The food is also the star. I'm Danya Backus with why your Super Bowl party could cost you more this year.
And next in Health Watch, medical experts weigh in on the question of whether you should still wear masks. Topping today's Health Watch, Eli Lilly strikes a deal with the White House. The drug maker has agreed to supply 600,000 doses of its experimental COVID-19 antibody treatment. That deal is worth at least $720 million. As more states around the country lift mask requirements for indoor public places, a lot of people are questioning whether they should still continue to mask. Reporter Bradley Blackburn has some advice from medical experts.
More states are lifting indoor mask mandates, leaving many people wondering if it makes sense to keep masking when the people around you are not.
Wearing a mask still protects you from, it reduces your risk of acquiring COVID. And if you do have it, it reduces your risk of onward transmission.
Dr. Chris Byrer is with Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. He says we should pay attention to 3 fundamental factors when weighing whether to mask up. The first and most important, density and crowding, because that's what really facilitates transmission.
The second is ventilation. If you're in poorly ventilated places where you, for example, can't open windows, get air flowing. And the third is when you don't know the vaccine status of the people around you.
Doctors say some people need to be more conservative. That includes the elderly and someone who lives with an elderly person. Also parents who have kids who are too young to get vaccinated.
If you are in a multi-generational household, or if you are in a household with anybody with immunocompromise and underlying conditions, you have to be extra cautious because those folks, even vaccinated, are still at risk of more serious disease with COVID.
And if you have COVID-19 or know you've been exposed, it's recommended to wear a well-fitted mask for 10 full days around others in public or your home. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
The CDC says people do not need to wear masks when outdoors, but that people in areas of high transmission may choose to wear one, especially if someone they live with is at increased risk for severe disease. Men with high levels of body fat break their bones much easier. That's according to a new study. Researchers from the Endocrine Society say many people assume those with higher body weight have higher bone density, but a study of more than 10,000 patients found the opposite is true. The study recommends doctors screen overweight patients for osteoporosis more often. A well-known treatment for heart attack and stroke patients isn't as risky as previously thought. A large study by the UT Southwestern Medical Center found the clot-busting drug Alteplase helped stroke patients recover and did not increase the risk of bleeding. Many doctors have previously withheld the drug over concerns there could be complications. And drugs prescribed online to help quit smoking work just as well as those prescribed by doctors in their offices. That's the finding of a study published in the journal Drug and Alcohol Dependence. Researchers say the study demonstrates the importance and effectiveness of internet-based treatment plans to help people kick the habit. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, what a new Treasury Department report shows about the federal budget in January.
Plus, we're turning much colder for us tonight into the weekend. We'll look at that coming up. Well, it turned out to be a pretty good Friday for us today. All week long, we've had fantastic temperatures, mainly 50s and 60s for highs. A lot of clouds for us today. Cold front has slipped through. We've had a few random showers, some sprinkles across the region, which most of those have pushed out of the area. But look at this shot, great shot. This is Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course. Indigo just outside of Seneca, Missouri. It's Friday evening. Parking lot's going to fill up. Heading into the weekend. Temps right now, most of us low to mid 50s, but we're really going to drop off later on tonight. Look at our cold front sliding through earlier today. So now we have kind of breezy northwesterly winds kind of ushering in those cooler temperatures. A lot of clouds up top, currently sitting at 53. Northerly winds 10 to 15. Humidity is at 45%. Through the evening hours, it's a slow drop through the 40s, 30s, but eventually we get down there near 20 degrees later on tonight. So with the front, we've had the clouds kind of shooting through, and you can see a few random little showers and sprinkles over the past couple hours. Most of the moisture is off to our east. We have this little back wave that kind of sinks in later on tonight, and that may give us a few random flurries, especially in our western counties. But besides that, we have the jet stream out of Canada, so these weak waves drop in. Big dome of high pressure in the western third of the country. Until that breaks down, we're not going to get any big storm systems in here. All right, let's go through tonight. Some clouds, maybe a few random flurries into tomorrow morning. But look at the temps, teens to lower 20s. As we go into Saturday, a much colder day, but we have plenty of sunshine, especially in the afternoon. Here's your day planner, 22 to start. 31 by noon, high temp right around 36. Tomorrow night, another cold night. We drop back into the lower 20s once again. And then as we go into Super Bowl Sunday, another weak little front drops in, but at least we go into lower 40s for afternoon highs. So a little bit better by the time we head into Sunday. All right, next week, that ridge breaks down. This is a strong storm system. It pulls out and it rolls out through the four corners of the U.S. Thunderstorms erupt across the Central Plains, big band of heavy snow across the Central Plains as well. This is next Wednesday and Thursday. So if we get a closer look at it, ahead of it, we look pretty good. Valentine's Day, no complaints, mid-50s. We go into the 60s by Tuesday. Into Wednesday, showers and thunderstorms get going. Some of these could be strong, very heavy amounts of rain. And then on the backside, a little bit of snow. I think most of the snow will stay to our north, but something we want to keep our eyes on as we go into next week. All right, 36 for us tomorrow, 43 on Sunday, Valentine's Day, 55, 64 by the time Tuesday rolls around. Those thunderstorms on Wednesday, and then we drop into the 20s. By Thursday, a little rain-snow mix. At least we rebound back into the 40s by Friday, but that's our next bigger system. Could get quite a bit of rain with it, maybe 1 to 2 inches as well.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
We see a lot of fluctuation in the weather this time of year.
Yeah, we definitely do.
Thanks, Jeff. Coming up, why your Super Bowl food's going to cost you more this year. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Larry Haith served in the U.S. Navy in 1969. The Joplin native was stationed in Vietnam, and we salute equipment operator construction man Larry Haith, a four-state hero. You can learn about lots of other heroes. We have more than 3,000 of them in our database. You can also submit a hero of your own anytime, and it's very simple to do. You just click on the link on our website. It's KOAMnewsnow.com. Topping today's Consumer Watch, our nation's balance sheet improved in January. According to the Treasury Department, the U.S. government swung back into the black, posting a surplus of $119 billion last month. Compare that to the deficit of $163 billion last January. The surplus marks the first since September of 2019. If you paid your taxes last year, but you still got a notice saying you owe money, well, you can ignore that. The IRS is dealing with a huge backlog of payments and tax returns. As a result, some taxpayers who are fully settled with the IRS are receiving automated notices saying they still have balances due. In some situations, it's just because workers haven't processed the payment yet. In response, the IRS put a temporary pause on more than a dozen types of automated notices. Now, if you get a notice and you really do owe the money to the government, well, yeah, you do still have to pay that. Super Bowl fans are hungry for more than just a win. Reporter Daniel Bacchus shows us just how much food Americans eat on game day and why the spread will cost more.
The big game means big business for Prime Pizza in Los Angeles.
Super Bowl Sunday will do anywhere from 100 to 120% more than a regular Sunday. So you're basically looking at double the volume.
Co-owner Zach Fishman says the preparation started weeks ago. They stocked up on wings and pizza ingredients because this year items are harder to get.
Every week, if not every day, there is something that is missing from an order.
It's also more expensive.
The costs are going up, but so far we've been able to absorb it.
Higher prices aren't just hitting restaurants' bottom lines. Fans at home are also paying more for party favorites.
It's anticipated that we're going to spend 14 to 15% more on our Super Bowl items.
Phil Limpert from supermarketguru.com says some party staples are even higher. 124 million pounds of avocados are expected to be sold this week, even though prices are up 59% over last year. Americans will also spend 30 cents more a pound on the 1.4 billion chicken wings that will be eaten during the big game. And football fans are expected to munch on 112 million pounds of chips and other snacks.
As it relates to snacks, they haven't gone up that much. They've gone up about 1 to 2%.
Higher prices aren't expected to slow down spending or defeat America's love of food. That's why Prime Pizza has its all-star lineup ready to win over customers. Danya Bacchus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Super Bowl Sunday is second only to Thanksgiving when it comes to the amount of foods we Americans eat. MoviePass is attempting a comeback. The founding CEO said he wants to relaunch the movie ticket subscription service this summer. But there's no word on pricing or if any theater chains have partnered with the company. Under the original plan, customers spent $10 a month to see one movie a day. However, it was financially unsustainable and the company shut down in 2019. Serious relationships with some serious financial secrets. According to TD Bank's annual Love and Money survey, nearly 1 in 3 people keeps a financial secret from their partner. The most common, 40% say they've kept a big purchase private. Credit card debt and secret bank accounts followed. Among those keeping secrets, 50% say they have no intention of ever spilling the details. Mill that over for Valentine's Day. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, more on concerns of a possible Russian invasion of Ukraine. Then on KOAM News at 6, how a bill in Missouri would make it harder to amend the state's constitution. Plus, we're going to have more on a Neosho educator being named Missouri Teacher of the Year. And Crowder College takes on Johnson County in their baseball home opener. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Getting a bit cooler out there, Doug.
It is. It's going to be a cold night for us tonight. We're going to drop back into lower 20s for overnight lows. 36 tomorrow, so quite a bit cooler. 43 on Super Bowl Sunday, back to 55 by Valentine's Day, and then the 60s return, thunderstorms return, a little rain snow mix all over the place next week.
Guess so. Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.